In the last video tutorial, we were covering the project build list, and this is the Automotive Directory Vehicle, Vendor, Services, and Data. Basically, in this screen and screens that are associated with it, what we're doing is we're looking at the directory for the Automotive Directory, the directory table, which shows the items, the products and services are individually showing each individual item that if we want to track individual items, the products portal, the portal table, which is the one for the products, and the product location map. So let's go ahead and go through those. We'll start where we're at the production list. When you come in here, you add a new record for items, or you look for an item in the search criteria by the vendor to start with. Now, if you want to go look at the individual items and hunt for them on an individual basis, what you would do is click the edge of this and go to the individual portal using this icon. You can also scroll through this and look at the items that are available in the portal as far as what there is available. When you create a new record, let's say for example this is a new record, we would be adding the address, the city, the state, province, and portal, if depending on postal information as far as where that's located. The contact 1, 2, and 3. In most of these places you have numerous contacts. In this case, this country is actually in Australia as far as where this thing is located. So you can have things where you can source them around the world. You have email addresses, 3 of each. You have an open hours so that you understand when you can contact these people. And then you would have the phone number. In this case, obviously you see the country code and the actual telephone number. But in a lot of cases, the way you're going to actually find these people and work with them is you would go ahead and put their URL for their actual business where they're located. Then you would go ahead, when you paste it in from their URL space off the actual top of the browser, then you would go ahead and click here. And what it would do is it would go out and locate that actual place where the business is at by their website. Now, in this particular case, it might take a second. This says failed, and the only reason it says failed is they may not have the right name or they've changed their website. So let's just go to another record. Let's go up here and say next record. And this one is located in the US. Let's try and see if that one works. And we go ahead and go out there. And it's going to take a second for it to find it. And that one failed also. Now, partially the reason for that is I'm actually on the simulator, and the simulator may not include the ability to go out and find these on the simulator. So what you can do is you can copy also and paste these into a browser and go by that way. But normally on your application, if you have a Wi-Fi connection from your iPad or iPhone or a local 3G, 4G, or LTE, that will open up and show that screen. Okay, so you have your website for that company or location. And the next thing you would have up here is the vendor name and what is the primary category that they're in. In this particular case, there's a list for all the items as far as the kind of things that they do, and that would be in the category list. And these are just a little bit scrunched, so it's kind of hard to see that they're actually getting, should have been a little bit different name there. Okay, so let's go ahead and next thing we want to do is actually pop over and look at the individual item in a list. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and say click here. And what it's going to do, go to the next one. And if I want to see this one, I can go there. Now, if I want to go to the actual portal for the item that I'm seeing in the screen, I would come up here and I would go to the directory, automotive directory table. And in this case, this is a list of all the items that are available out there that are in our directory list. Now, what I can do is I can pull them down or push them up, depending on, you can do this with your finger and scroll on the iPad or iPhone. And you can either click back in to edit the individual item. You can do a search, in this case, by coming over here and starting a search and putting either the category, the city, the website, or the vendor name. Or you can get really clever and say, okay, well, I want to go out and see the actual website and click here. And hopefully this one will work. And we'll see now if this thing's going to fail again. Yeah, it's going to fail again because it doesn't like being in the browser simulator as far as working. I'm just going to click another one for the heck of it and see if it'll come up. And it should take a second. Anytime it takes that long, it's going to take it's too far. It might be too because my VPN's down and it's not working right now. Okay, but you do have the web address, you have the location, the city, and what they're actually selling as far as their category is concerned. And obviously I can go up here and I can look all through these to see the individual items that I want to see as far as the items. Okay, let's go to the next item. Let's go over to the Automotive Directory table. From there, we'll go from there to the products and services. And what this is this screen is where you take the individual company that you're working with, vendor name and category and list, and now you can go through and take the individual items that you're looking for that were within that business where you want to reference them, so that if you come back later, you would have a place to actually find the information. If it's available, what's its status, what's its cost, is there any shipping involved, and you can actually click on this and put in a photo of the item, just copy and paste it from the website using the URL for the actual image, and then paste it in there, or actually paste in the actual image from a website and paste it into the screen by just clicking in there and saying insert, and then it will insert it in there. And in this case, I have my referenced items in the actual photo area over here. If I click off of that, they go away. Then I can put some notes in here as well as far as the item. Even though I have a description in the photo and the item ID and the name, I still would need to have some kind of narrative about what this is and how I'm going to use it and where what it would be used on and so forth. Now in a particular case, let's take an extreme. Let's say that this is a place and they build hardware and they have nuts, bolts, and fasteners and all that kind of stuff. Now the nice part of this is, unless you're using them, you may want to put some stuff in there as far as the items so you show availability in this screen. But until you actually have a need for them, you may want to just leave them here, and then as you need them, go ahead and add them into your build list and your inventory. So it's no need to put them all in the inventory or unless you're actually using them. In that case, it's the same kind of a thing. If you go to somewhere and you have a product or something that you want to buy, and it's a one-off kind of a thing from that vendor, it might be important to note that they have it there, but I wouldn't put it in the inventory unless you physically can put your hands on it and buy it. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to try to buy it if you don't have the access to it. So this is where you would list them, and it's a great reference. And then again, what you can do is you can do a find in the actual portal for the individual items in the product list. So that would be the products portal, which is this item over here where it shows the actual item. And then as you go down through them, for example, here's an art item. I can go to the next record and so forth down through them. But I can do a find in this area for that particular item that I want to look at. Then go to the last item. In this case, it's not a very good picture of it, but you can see I can go to the prior one as well and see the items that are in there. Now, while I'm here, I might want to point this out. All the records and information that you have in most of the application can be overwritten with your own information. What that basically means is that if you're in the production portal, the build portal, or whatever it is, or the individual portals where you're at, like this one, if you are not going to ever use that information, you can go in and replace it as far as the image is concerned, and then change the data by overwriting it in this record and in relation to the actual items over here as far as the, excuse me, I got too far, the auto directory. In the auto directory, most of these are still relevant. These are actual businesses that are in business and providing information and products to support you. So I would not delete any of these, but you may need to come in and maybe update the contacts, maybe update the emails, and also maybe in some cases even update the URLs because they may have changed. And then the information down here, for example, this is copied directly from the web screen in the website, where I took the information that was in that particular portal, and what I did is I put that information in there so you could use it, and it gives you some kind of an idea what you're actually doing with that information in that particular portal. For example, you can scroll through it. This is obviously done with your finger when you're scrolling through it on the iPad and iPhone. And then when you're in the case of working it in the regular thing, you can use the scroll bar as far as scrolling through it. So it's just helpful to have comments and information about the particular company, and you can add your own particular things as far as the company is concerned. And it gives you a little background in this particular case on the individual companies that helps you to understand what their mission is and what they actually provide to you. And of course, you'd have a phone number where you can call them and so forth. So you're not really overwriting the information in this particular screen or these screens. What you're doing is you're selecting different vendors and looking at the information for each one of them. as far as what they're looking for. For example, if you're looking for auctions and stuff like that, you have those companies. Here's Barrett Jackson's, for example. If you go to Barrett Jackson's, let's make sure I get the right one, Barrett Jackson's, and that way you would have the information for them. And there it is, barrettjacksons.com, my garage, so forth. And where they're actually located in Scottsdale, Arizona, for example. Now with this, let's go back and see as a recap what we've looked at. We've looked at the product table, and now what we want to do, let's go over and look at that. The product table is an individual thing where you search on it, and in this particular case you can be looking at by country, you can look by city, the vendor name, and the categories. And for example, if I wanted to go in here and say I want everything that has to do with paint, let's play the game. I'm going to go over here and say paint and actually run it. And there are 2 vendors out of 95, and those are the 2 vendors that do paint and custom paint. So I could say, let's go ahead and look at those, and then that would be the item that we're looking for as far as advanced airbrushing and painting. Now, obviously, you can add your own and do all the kinds of things that you might be interested in as far as your particular business. Okay, and the last thing we're looking at is the product's location. And what this is going to do is based on the company that we're looking for the airbrushing and so forth, it's going to bring up a map with a location. In this case, it's saying a server or specified host name could not be found. And I think, again, we're still dealing with the thing of being in the simulator right now. It's not going to find it. Unless let's drop down to the next one. Let's say go to the next record, and see if we can get somebody to come in here as far as these are concerned. There's a long URL down at the bottom of the screen. Let's see if, nope. Right now it's basically based on the server not being available. Okay, if you have any questions about how these items are used as far as this particular set of the automotive directory and information within it, you can always contact us by using the drop down here and go to the developer support site where you can get more help and information as far as this screen or screens are concerned. Thank you.